What is up, Retro Maniacs? Welcome to Retro Card Chat Podcast. My name is Mike. I'm from Mike's Retro Trading Cards, and I'm joined by two men that have their boards filled up and they're ready to go. They are, of course, Joe Day and EP Eric Pahalik. How you doing, guys?
What the hell does
Doing
that
great.
You don't know what a Borg is?
mean? A Borg, like a Star Trek villain?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Oh, man. Now you guys were so much younger than me when I had the shop that I just assumed that you're like young and hip and in touch with everything. But yeah, a Borg, apparently it's all the rage with the young kids running around college nowadays. They take like a gallon jug, they fill it with like a fifth of vodka and water and some of the water flavor thing, and they throw some electrolyte powder in there, and that's what they drink for the night. Saves them from the hangover the next day. Yeah, I thought you guys were all in.
Sounds delicious.
I was actually gonna fill up a jug and use it as a prop, but yeah, too much effort. So, how's it going, guys?
Great.
Up,
I want to say it first off. Listen. I need to say though, like your intro, like you said, let's do it, and we just started doing it, and here we are. Like it was great.
Yeah. Getting used to it after 48 tries.
48 tries, yeah. We're finally there. Yeah, speaking of alcohol, I'm not cracking a beer open today, folks. I worked the beer fest Friday. I worked the beer fest on Friday, and the liver needs a break.
Wow, you are getting old. That was 2 days ago.
I know. And I still don't feel great. Like I probably could if I had to. If we were sponsored, let's just say this. If we were sponsored by a brewery, I could muddle my way through. I could push through.
You would have to.
But yeah, since we're not getting any scratch for that, I think I'll take the day off, have some water and some coffee here.
Wow. Okay. How's it going, EP?
I'm pretty good. I got some Coke Zero and I got a little beer myself going, so I'm good.
Well, I have myself
nice
a Coors Banquet beer. Yeah. Since Joe's not drinking, somebody has to do it, right? So,
well, I guess cheers, Mike.
Cheers. There we go.
Right.
Like we're recording, so I can't just get up to my fridge and go get a beer now. I mean,
well,
I feel stuck.
Some of us come prepared.
I guess.
Others of us don't.
Well, pull back the curtain a little bit. We start talking around 10 a.m. So I'm not going to bring a beer out for that entire hour before we start actually recording and get it nice and lukewarm before I start drinking it.
Gave you plenty of advance notice when I was going to start the intro. All I'm saying.
Right.
All I'm saying. All right. Well, hey, I think we have a pretty big show. So you guys want to just dive right in?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Okay. Well, I've been doing some breaking lately. I've been trying to buy I've been buying the Paul Heyman spot in the immaculate WWE. And let me just say, I am 0 for 10 so far. 0 for 10.
Oh my gosh.
But
that sounds terrible.
I just want people to know our topic today is not sour grapes because I'm over 10.
It really sounds it now, EP.
It is, yeah,
I'm starting
really
to does.
But we're here to talk about whether or not breaking needs to be regulated. I don't know if you guys had a chance. I know.
This explains the amount of research
so
you put into this topic. This explains so much.
My research was losing 10 spots. Like Immaculate, you get 30 cards in a case, and there are 150 or 60 in the set, and he's only in base and then the autograph. So yeah, you get one base card per box of it. So you get 5 base cards out of a case. So yeah, it's not a winning proposition. I should have just bought the autograph for $100.
Yeah,
I might end up doing that anyway. So, but anyway, no. Sports Card Radio on their live stream this past week brought up some information that Backyard Breaks owner Grant Telford had been buying into his own company's breaks. And apparently he hit a Anthony Edwards logo man out of one of the breaks. Now, because this is the world we live in and this is the hobby we're part of, a lot of people see no problem in this. They're like, well, what? He's just doing it to, he's doing it for his customers because they're filling up the spots that aren't taken. Like, Sports Card Radio made some great points. First of all, everybody talks about how great Backyard Breaks is, how much product they go through. That's why they're getting all the product hits, because they open so much more than anybody else. Like, they didn't open, they had Backyard Breaks on their screen for the whole live stream, which was like almost 2 hours long, and they did not break one product in that 2 hours. So, like, they're not breaking the product, maybe not as much as people think. And like, the owner is buying into the breaks.
Yeah, that's first off, 2 hours without having a break, and you're a breaking company. Talk about a lot of sizzle and not much steak, huh? I mean, that's pretty crazy when you think about it. But like, I don't know anything about basketball.
What were they doing?
Right?
They just had this like, were they just like hands? Like, were they just doing?
I think
like,
they were just talking.
I guess moving product around, talking. Yeah.
Like, say what you
talking
will,
about what they're gonna break.
I know people don't like Leighton, and I know sometimes they get a bad rap over some of the stuff they do, but they are consistently breaking, and they're not as ridiculous. So, you know, say what you will. But I'm not a basketball guy, but my question is, how was the Anthony Edwards team, or how was getting him not? How was he not already taken? How was that team spot not already taken?
Like, there are a lot of people
buy into it to fill it.
There are a lot of people who think he is like a potential GOAT, like potentially one of the best players. Like that's like his team, and like he's like probably one of the up and coming players that people are really looking to get. So I don't know if they do an auction style or what, but if
I think a lot of it is like random divisions.
Okay.
So, you know, they're doing random spots. So it didn't, supposedly the story was that the product didn't fill up and he bought the spot.
And he just happened to get the team that Anthony Edwards plays for.
Well, Sports Card Radio made a really good point. Like, people will point to, oh, well, he does it and he doesn't win. But like, you know, it's kind of like counting cards at the casino. You're trying to give yourself an advantage. Like, you know, counting cards isn't technically illegal.
It's not technically illegal.
But the casino will ban you if they think you're doing it.
And they're a private company and they can.
An advantage. And that's the thing. Like, so much of this product can be weighed. Like a card like a Logo Man, I guarantee you the box that has the Logo Man in it probably weighs a little more than the other box. So knowing how much product can be weighed, knowing about the codes that'll give you away kabooms, like, you can see how an owner buying into, so he's buying a division, so you have a 1 in 6 chance of maybe getting a certain player, although the other divisions have good players too. But if you take a product that you weighed and you know there's something in it, like a Logo Man or something like that, you're giving yourself a better odds to pull that card than the random person just buying a break, because you know that box has something in it. So if you give yourself a 1 in 6 chance, every 6 times you do that, you're going to get a card.
And how do you know that they didn't just shut off the thing or whatever when they got to like one left? It's like, oh, this one didn't fill, so I'm going to take it. And I mean,
I have a hard time believing too. Like, I do watch breaks on I've never taken part, but I do watch breaks quite a bit as like background noise, and that stuff fills up. If you're as big of a company as Backyard Breaks pretends to be, or you know, people think they are, how are you not filling up a 6-spot break if it's just divisions? Even if it's teams, how many teams are there in the NBA? I mean, how are you not filling that up, especially if it's a new product or a product with some big time cards and big time players? Though when you said Anthony Edwards at first, I thought it was an ER break. Maybe, you know, no, not, it wasn't from
Revenge
the show
of the
ER,
Nerds, maybe.
or wasn't he also in Top Gun? I mean, one or the other.
I can't keep
Edwards, are we
back and forth with you? I don't know. I think it's a different guy.
Okay, all right. But yeah, I don't know how you couldn't fill that up. Like, it seems like a big company like that, a big breaker, should be able to fill up a 6-spot break. Come on, I feel
on
like
a major product.
On a major product. Yeah, it's I don't understand how that's possible.
Like, if you work at a casino, you're not even allowed to gamble at that casino.
or at any of their affiliate casinos.
But here you have an owner
right
of a company breaking with his own breaks. Like the definition of gambling is it's something that has a prize, these hits in there, something that has an element of chance, which especially when you're doing a random, you absolutely have an element of chance, and it has consideration, which means you're paying for it. So like it to the T fits the definition of gambling. I think we pretty much all agree at some point, if you want to be honest about it, it's gambling. Like it's absolutely gambling. That's part of the appeal of it. It's unregulated gambling. And just like that simple fact though, that you could be a worker in a casino and you can't gamble there, but the owner of a company is playing in his own casino, so to speak, like blows my mind.
Yeah. Well, even if you're a company, like we run contests at the paper sometimes, and not anybody, but none of our family and none of us can win that. Like that's always the rule for contests and stuff like that. Like employees are not eligible, let alone the owner.
Well, yeah. And wasn't there a big thing that his dad was buying into breaks too? Like that,
I didn't know about
from
that.
From what I understand, I want to say the guy that they had fired, or had left, the other guy, that's a Tesla guy, right? I want to say that he had been going on social media and talking about how Grant's dad had been buying into breaks, and he knew about that as well. So it's like, so you've got EP, you've got family. It's almost like they're taking up two of the spots, and then everyone else is just kind of paying for the product for them to open and maybe get a big hit for. You know what I mean? Like that's why, they at casinos, they don't like two people who come together to play at the same table. If you're playing poker, they like to split you up because they're worried you might be running some sort of game on the rest of the players there. I mean, yeah, it's just if it's not illegal, it's shady as hell. It is absolutely shady as hell.
And another issue I saw brought up that I never even considered is anybody of any age can buy into these. Like you're buying into a break or you're buying it on eBay. That could be like a 12-year-old kid buying into that break. Like he can't go into the casino and plop down some money on the blackjack table, but they're allowed to do that in the breaks. There's no age limit. Nobody's even checking for any kind of verification. Like it's just a recipe for disaster, isn't it? Like
they can't even walk into a gas station and buy a scratch off ticket.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, and that's as benign as that is. Like
scratch off.
$1 scratch. They can't even do that. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but we see these kids walking around the shows with cases that are more valuable than our PCs. I mean,
like the actual cases, not even the cards in there.
The
actual
case
cases.
Those carrying cases. Whew.
Right. Yeah. But I mean, they're getting these cards somehow. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of them, and we may mention this during our national recap. EP, I think it was you that said it. You walk past like the breaker lane or whatever they called it, and it was like hundreds of kids like screaming and cheering like they were seeing some hip cool band that I don't know who they are, like
their favorite YouTube star. I mean,
favorite YouTube star, right?
Twitch star, yeah. Yep.
Right, exactly. TikTok.
Yeah, one of the arguments like for it saying that is not gambling too is saying that it's contractual. You're making a contract to buy such a thing and such and so forth. But first of all, with the definition of gambling, I think that's kind of a stretch, but still, like, even if you're calling it a contract, if you have a 14-year-old kid that's buying into it, that like he can't enter into a contract either. So he can't gamble. He's not legally able to enter into a contract that can be enforced. But here we are with our sports card world. Like, I just kind of feel like if things don't somehow change quickly, that the feds are just gonna one day go, you know what, we're gonna swarm in and take over these places.
Yeah, if things don't change, things are gonna like things are going to go bad. But if things don't change, things are going to go could potentially go very, very, very bad, right? Like it could be huge, and it could be like outlawed, like,
I mean, they regulate fantasy football now. I mean, especially if there's a way for, See, this is where I'm not sure, because if there are ways for the government to make money on something, they're going to do everything they can to regulate it to make money on it. But I guess technically they are the government is making money on this because it's sales taxes involved and all that stuff. So I don't know, like, do you put an extra gambling tax on this or something like that? I don't know. It's a tough one.
I think the big thing is, though, like, you need to protect the consumer. Like, it's not really, the regulation would come more so not to make the money, but to protect the consumer, because there's a lot of shady stuff going on. Like, I said I'm 0 for 10 in my breaks for Paul Heyman. Do you know how many of those that I didn't hit anything refunded my shipping money?
0.0%. Oh,
one.
Oh.
Rips Card Rips on Instagram too, and I'll throw a shout out to him, because that's what you should. Like, I paid for shipping from other breakers for getting nothing, and like, tell me it's not gambling. I paid money, got nothing, and they didn't even refund my shipping. Like, sketchy stuff goes on. Like, think of, like, especially with wrestling, I told you that, I don't know, 150 200 spots all together. Like, and most of them don't hit, and you're making $4 or $5 shipping on every one of those spots, not refunding it. That is sketchy. That is shady, and you shouldn't be doing it. It shouldn't be allowed. I'm pretty sure if I want to be a jerk about it, I could file something with eBay and say I didn't get anything, and they'll have to refund at least by shipping. But some of the breakers, how many times have we heard the stories? We've seen it with Backyard Breaks. They pull a hit and they don't give it to the person who is supposed to get it. Now, that wasn't a paid spot, so it was a little different. But there are people out there that, they get a big hit, off goes the stream, the channel's gone, and they keep the card. Like, if you search for that, you can find story after story from social media, on message boards, everything, on people who were ripped off by breakers who just did that. So, like, at some point, this is all going to come to a head. Like, how big can breaking get before somebody steps in and says we have to have some kind of rules?
Well, and we talked about it, was it last week or the week before? Fanatics coming into the breaking space at some point. They're a legitimate company. They're going to be, I have a feeling that breaks are going to be run, and they have a gambling license. I think breaking is going, and I would not be shocked if Michael Rubin, with all the connections he has, says, well, we're going to do it right, and I think you should regulate it. I think the government should regulate breaking.
They should,
and they should have a gambler's license or whatever, because Fanatics has all that stuff already, right? So they can go out and do that, and then they can encourage that it should be regulated well beyond where it is right now, and it could push a lot of breakers kind of out of the ability to break at that point, and maybe Fanatics is the only show in town, or it's definitely going to be. I think it'll be the biggest show in town. Yeah,
I mean, especially if they push for that and it happens. Like, you could totally see somebody like that happening. Like,
I mean, he's a very smart guy. Like, he's seeing everything going down, how it is. Seeing all the shady stuff from breakers is probably music to his ears, because he will then say, we're going to make sure we're the most above board. And I mean, they're breaking our product. Wouldn't be surprised if the juice starts coming. If they start getting those juiced cases coming out, people are going to start going to them, and it's going to push other breakers out of doing it, with the exception of, I guess, fringe products, or if Panini makes unlicensed stuff or whatever. But yeah, it's going to be, if I'm Rubin, I'm pushing the other breakers out of business, and I'm saying regulate the hell out of this platform, because
that was one of the main points I wanted to bring up, though, because Fanatics is getting into online gambling. Bet Fanatics is a thing. They haven't launched it yet, as far as I know, but they have licenses in different states already. They're going to be a legitimate online sports book. So, like, again, I've said this in the past, I feel like if, with all the gambling commissions and everything looking into what they're doing, making sure that's all going to be right, I can't see them going, but that breaking stuff you do is fine, we don't care about that. Like, they do so much to try to make sure that these online casinos and stuff are on the up and up and doing things the right way. Any casino, they're regulating them, making sure they're doing the right things and not cheating the people. I fail to believe that they're going to see this other big part of a business like that and go,
Right.
oh, but we don't care that
Right.
you're selling these spots off and people might not get money. Like, I feel like regulation is coming. And I feel like maybe that's why Michael Rubin got into the gambling, or he kind of figured this is all going to fall under gambling. They wanted to get into that, but the breaking will be too. Like, it has to end up there. I'd be really shocked if it doesn't.
Right.
I just had this moment where I realized, where it's like, where this dude realizes, holy crap, look at all the money these people are paying. And like, what somebody like the IRS or whoever would regulate that. Like, we're looking at it, it's like, oh my god, look at the amount of money changing hands. But look what these people are doing. It's like the Wild Wild West.
Yeah,
look how much money this is.
Like, there are absolutely no laws or rules about breakers or what they can and can't do. Like, whether you can buy into your own break. I guarantee you, if there's regulations, owners of companies won't be able to buy into their own damn breaks. Like, come on, that's common sense. But what blows my mind is, though, you have that segment of people that just don't care. They're okay with all this stuff. Like, we see it with all like the bad business practices and everything. And people are like, oh, you're just like, no, we're not a dinosaur. There's a right way and a wrong way to do business. Why do you accept the wrong way and just, laugh it off?
And not only are there's a segment of people that don't care, which is weird in a hobby that has so much potential for scamming, and they just kind of whatever.
Part of the reason why so much of it exists is because people don't
like, oh, as long as I get my whatever, I'm fine, or I don't care if grading companies aren't accurate with the grades, as long as mine's a 10, or I don't care if no one gets the hit as long as I get the hit in the break, and that's. But beyond all that, it's not just that people don't care, it's that people outside the hobby don't understand it. So you said, EP, the guy at the IRS is like, what is going on here?
Right.
Literally, we've talked about this with court cases where you're like, are the lawyers and judges involved in this? Are they going to have any idea what we're talking about? Oh, you're taking a piece of cardboard, putting in a piece of plastic, and now it's worth more, and you're not allowed to trim it. Like, same thing with breaks. Like, if I try to explain breaking to someone who doesn't know about cards, they would. We kind of didn't know about it when we first got into it. I remember us saying, "Wait a minute, you have someone else open up your cards, and you like, why is that a thing? That you're taking away the best part about cards is ripping open that box." But you tell someone completely outside the hobby what's going on, their eyes would go in the back of their head. They would have no idea.
And they would go to you. That sounds like gambling.
Right.
That sounds really.
That's legal?
That's
is that legal?
Is that a scam? Is that a scam?
Yeah.
Is that a scam?
I really think that the three of us need to find some random person in our lives that a coworker or whatever, and try to explain breaking to them and see what they say. And then come back next week.
We'll record it.
That would be
okay,
fantastic.
I'm going to explain to you what breaking is. And then by the end of it, they're like, wait a minute now. What's going on? Do I get cards or not? I'm very confused here. Well, if you have the AFC East, now you got some cards. If you have the AFC North, you're pretty screwed at this point. People are very, very.
And those randoms like that, like, are totally gambling. Like, at least I'm trying to get a Paul Heyman card. I realize, I'm probably not going to get it because of the odds there and stuff, and I'm making that decision. But these people, like the random stuff, like how do you know that the random stuff is being on the up and up? Like the Sports Card Radio was showing the duck races that Backyard Breaks uses to like figure out their random stuff, and it's just like,
what's that now?
Duck racing, yeah. It's a video duck racing, and that's how they determine it.
The look on Joe's face was.
I can't make this stuff up. I wish I could make that kind of stuff up, but I can't.
I don't know what any of that meant, but what I will say is I've seen. Have you guys seen like some of these big hit cards? Like I think there was one. Was it 2020? It was a Joe Burrow, Tua, Justin Herbert triple auto. Could you imagine how sick you were? Because unless you owned all three teams, or 2 out of 3, I guess they do a 2. It has to be 50% plus 1, or however it works out. But if you don't own those teams or the couple of divisions, and that card was pulled, not only are you gambling within the break itself, but now you have another random to determine who gets that
Right.
tens of
That
thousands of
happened
dollars
last
card.
night. Yeah.
Layers
Did it
of
really?
gambling.
Yeah,
Layers of gambling.
the break I was in last night, and the breaker again, it was Rips card Rips. Like he hates doing randoms
Right.
because people are going to be mad. He like hopes that he doesn't get a random. Well, he pulled a triple autograph redemption for Seth Rollins, Triple H, and Stephanie McMahon. So
Wow, that's a cool
you
card.
know,
Yeah.
one and nobody had like all three of them. Nobody even had two of them. They were all separate. So one person was going to be really happy,
What
and two were going
happened to
to be
you?
sick.
That happened to
Oh
you,
yeah, it
didn't
did happen to me. Yeah, I
You had the
had Roman
Usos?
Reigns and the
Oh,
Usos
that's
out of Finest, and I mean, kind of my mistake. I should have bought the Usos. Like I was new to breaking though, so I didn't really understand it quite as much as I should have. But yeah, I didn't win it, and it made me feel
Yeah.
sick. But
and you bought the Roman Reigns spot,
did.
which was the more expensive spot. Like
Mhm.
the person who bought I think at this point, Justin Herbert was probably the most expensive division or whatever, the most expensive team. But imagine if and they're not cheap. Like the pay on the product, you're talking like $1,000 sometimes for a spot, maybe 500 for a spot, but it's like
Jeez.
tiered in a
Mm-hmm.
lot of situations. And imagine that, like you said, EP, it's gambling within gambling. You're gambling on the spot in general, and now you hit this just absolute monster, and there's a 2/3 chance that you don't get it
Mhm.
because two other people bought those teams as well. So there was one which was really hilarious. It was like I'm just gonna make something up, but it was Trevor Lawrence and Evan Ingram, right? Like something ridiculous like that,
Mhm.
and or Trevor Lawrence and someone from another team, but. Like the Trevor Lawrence spot, kind of like your Roman Reigns thing. The Trevor Lawrence spot was very expensive, and the wide receiver from the Bears, whoever was like
Mhm.
nothing. But that person got that card because just chance. They gambled on it and they got it.
Well, it's definitely rough, and I think I have a couple more breaks to go. And if I don't hit anything, I'm definitely going to be calling up anybody I can to get this stuff regulated. Oh, anyway, moving on. EP,
Yes,
give
I'm
us
here.
a little update on the 2023 Tops project you have going on here.
I have I'm not completely done, but I'm almost done with all the base, collating all the base into sets. I will have 6 sets.
Fun. I love collating.
It was hours yesterday, like literally.
I could have
hours.
sent Rob over to you. I could have sent Rob over to you. He would have helped out.
Yeah, literally hours. But I sold like 5 cards while we've been recording already, so this is an inaccurate number. But I'm $91 away from break even, so there's like there's no doubt that I'm going to profit. Like there's no doubt I'm going to break even and profit. I still have the Trout, which is probably a $50 to $100 card. I have another that auto that I pulled from the silver pack auto, the redemption.
Mhm.
That's from everything I've seen. That's probably an orange parallel auto.
Okay.
So I got that for 75. I probably would sell it for 50, but I'm sold and steady at 50 to 75. I'm not going to try to go down on that one. So I've got a bunch of other like $30 and $20 cards and a whole pick of inserts. So I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that I'm gonna profit off the case. So
Fantastic.
and I think I said last week that I thought it was an average to good box or average to good case. I think I'm leaning more towards average after looking through everything. Like I didn't get any Gunnar Henderson insert cards. I didn't get any any of the top 3 are Gunnar Henderson, Michael Harris, and Natalie Rutschman. I didn't get any of those guys in any of the insert sets or parallels or anything like that. So I mean, like a lot of my parallels were very, very basic Orioles team card relievers and a lot of that sort of stuff. And I've sold a lot of those already. So to think that I didn't like the Trout, obviously as a case, it was a nice one. But again, as a case set in a product where they're producing 180,000 cases or whatever of the hobby, and then the retail on top of that, like it's really not like it's not going to be a $400 card, which it was when I first I think that's what
was
like
being listed at like 300, yeah,
right, yeah, and so it was never going to be that card after the first day. So, but I'm like I said, I'll be happy to get 50 or to 100 out of that, and 50 to 100 out of the other auto, and then everything else is gravy.
How much do you think you'll get out of the complete sets?
I think they're probably going for like 30 to 35 shipped.
Oh, that's good.
Maybe 40 shipped. So something like that. They had a really good rookie class, so probably 40 shipped. I'll start with.
Well, just look at it this way. Like once you make that first dollar profit and then you figure out all the time you put into this, your per hour wage will still be higher than the paper pays you.
That's true. All of that is true.
That is
The-
true.
I do have one
couldn't
bit of
pass that up.
bad news though.
Okay.
I said you already did.
Yeah.
I said I had some
I
good
did.
news and
I
some
w-
bad news.
Mhm.
I said in a text to you guys. The Topps Heritage is not showing up on any lists anywhere. It's not. Topps doesn't say anything about it. Nobody's expecting it to come out, and that was going to be the next set that I got, and that was going to be like mid-Marchish. So I may have to shift gears or figure something else out or whatever. But so the next box of cards or the next case of cards I'm going to get is not happening.
Take
So
all that money and
Yeah.
buy into WWE Immaculate Breaks.
Negative, negative Ghost Rider.
Just a
Just
thought.
buy the
Just a
just buy the
thought.
Heyman spots. Just buy the Heyman spots. You'll be fine. As EP hits every auto, every Heyman auto.
Buy a case of it and break it yourself, and you
No,
have at
no.
least one spot sold. No, you won't
No,
have
I
to
won't.
refund my shipping.
If I buy a case of something that is 30 cards in a case, send help because it's not me.
Send help.
Calling the National Guard because it's
You
not.
get
I'm not. It's not,
six
not EP
cards for
anymore.
like $400 a box for wrestling. Like,
No.
come
Yeah,
on.
that's more expensive than like that feels like more per card. It feels more expensive than National Treasures football at this point.
I have
That's
watched
super expensive.
enough of those breaks to realize that product is way overpriced and nothing is worth it.
That
Nothing
checklist is
worth
so
it.
huge for the amount of cards you get.
Yeah,
So
and-
huge.
Why do they do that? Think about it. Back to the first segment, breakers. You give them all these spots they can sell. They're going to buy your product because they can make a ton of money off it.
Right.
But you did get autograph cards out of your case of baseball.
I did. A few.
Well, I don't know if you guys saw it, but did you see all of the Bowman baseball cards on Twitter in that picture? That I think his name is where is it? Juan Alonso. He's a minor leaguer for the
Mhm.
Dodgers. Had in front of him to sign. I'll throw it up here. Let me
Yeah.
just throw that up there, Mike.
Throw that up there,
But-
Mike.
Holy cow! Like
Yeah.
how are autographs worth anything?
Right.
I've seen a number of things on Twitter where people were like retired NBA players with a stack of cards behind them. It's like ridiculous. Like and then that got me thinking. Like I can't imagine like these guys who are signing like this rookie class. Say the amount of cards that they've signed already, the amount of
Mhm.
stickers they've probably signed already for just this year's products is
Yeah.
mind blowing to me. Like
Yeah.
I can't even fathom how many times they've written their name.
I will say people are like, well, hey, now we have to give them a pass for, just putting their initials. I'm like, no, they're getting paid. That young man is getting paid very well to sign those cards.
Mhm.
Sign it so I can read it. Just don't put your initials. Like nothing bothers me more than people who autograph cards and it's just like I sent you guys a picture and it was like the autograph was like this big and it was just his
Yeah.
initials.
And it was like
whatever
like one letter. Like it was like the two letters
Right,
matched
right.
together even. Yeah.
Like if you're gonna do that, cool. If you're gonna make like you're like Prince and you're doing a symbol, I guess I don't know what you're doing, but make it a little bigger, I guess. And like it was like this big. Like I don't mind someone like Joey B puts Joey B. I like that.
Mhm.
Right. Jordan Love puts Jordan Hart. I mean, okay, that's silly, but I'm cool with it if that's how he signs. signs his
Does he
cards.
sign his contract that way?
He might. He might.
doubt it.
You never know.
I have a feeling they don't. Yeah,
they don't allow that.
I'm
I feel-
guessing not. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah,
I feel like-
but I don't mind those. But when you're just you're getting paid very well to do what to sit there and sign stuff. It's like, is that really work? We joke around about card. We have a lot of work to do in cards. It's not really work. It's fun. It's same thing with this. You're signing your name and you're getting paid very well to do it.
I feel like going back to last week, we were talking about Fanatics being part of it now and their contract and them having a portion of that. I wonder if part of that's going to be, hey, like they're going to regulate or they're going to push more and say, hey, listen, just sign your name the right way. Like, we don't want to see this crap, or we're going to like
Probably
dock you some of your, some of the amount of money you get for signing the autographs.
Again, like people accept it, so why would it
That's true.
change? Like
Yeah.
a lot of we're dinosaurs. We're the old men yelling at the clouds here about it, but
Yeah.
uh,
Every day I do.
But a lot of the stuff is just accepted, and what are we going to do? We're complaining about it, but nothing will change.
I have to say I'm very, very proud of fellow Pitt alum Kenny Pickett, who actually signs his full name and it looks good. He keeps it in the sticker.
The guys that do, though, like it stands out now.
Yeah.
The people that actually take a little time and sign their full name.
Like, oh, that's actually really nice. I'm glad
that they're doing that. Forget that, some of these kids may not sign their name. People don't write in cursive.
They don't even teach cursive anymore.
Yeah. So, maybe part of that is they don't want to just print their name. They feel like it's dumb, so they do a little symbol or something. I don't know. Yeah,
just
scribble's better than printing. I don't know.
Yeah,
I did, like, back to the wrestling case. There was a wrestler, Ivy Nile is her name. Her name's printed. It looks really dumb. Like, really dumb. Like, with the wrestlers too, you have them signing a name that isn't really their name too.
Right.
So,
that's a good point.
But yeah, it looks really dumb if you just print your name out. So maybe we should just put up with the initials. I don't know. The symbols. Maybe we should encourage more symbols, like do a little artsy kind of thing.
Right. Exactly.
Who knows?
But back to that picture. So I'll reel it in as the only sober one right now. But no, I mean, the whole reason we started talking about this on our group chat was like, are these worth anything at this point? I mean, how many cases must be out there of this product that individual player is signing that many cards? And then it's all going to be like that fake scarcity stuff. I'm sure in that big pile, there were cards numbered to 10, cards numbered to 25, cards numbered to 50, 199. Then they have the unnumbered ones. And again, it's the same card, same signature. It just happens to have maybe a little foil variation, maybe a little number down at the bottom. The 101 was probably in that pile somewhere. No different than any other card that was in that pile. I mean, it's just crazy to me.
I didn't take notice if there were chrome and paper in there, but I mean, a lot of them will have both of those cards in this year. But still, that's still so many cards, even for Bowman and Bowman Chrome releases. You know what I mean?
At the end of the day, even if you're breaking down the parallels, if you sign 5,000 to 10,000 cards, you signed 5,000 to 10,000 cards.
Right.
There is going to be no shortage of autographs. And I've talked before. That's one of the things I kind of like about the hobby is you do have availability of autographs and stuff, but like, I really don't feel like they should be worth what they're currently worth. Like, I'm talking about the better players. Like, we've even back to the 90s and stuff, there are a lot of autographs out there just aren't worth anything. There are players who never really did anything and people don't want them. So, I sell them for $1. You get $2 for a auto, you're good. But going to be a lot of those now. But the ones that are selling for, $500, $1,000, I'm gotta wonder, like, are they really worth that? Like, again, I always talk about in 20 years, like with parallels, you go back and you aren't going to differentiate between the 5 and the 10 and the 15. With the autographs, like if you want a player's autograph, the guy that's a Hall of Famer, maybe somebody that passed away, you're like, oh, well, I'll just take this one here because it's a base and it's like a quarter
way
of the cost.
Cheaper. Right.
Yeah. So
let someone else have the numbered out of 5.
Autographs.
Yeah. Right. Let someone else have the numbered out of 5 one and pay $1,000 for it. I'll buy this base one for $100. It's the same exact card with the same exact player's autograph. It just happens to have a little bit different of a shine on it than the other one. But I'm getting a really, really great deal. If you want something like that for your PC, that's the way I would do it.
Seeing that photo also makes me wonder how many autographs somebody like Mike Trout has signed. How many cards somebody like Mike Trout has signed? A super in demand player in all these recent sets. So many different parallels, all that sort of stuff. The number of cards he's probably held in his hand and signed, the number of sheets of stickers he's had in his hand and signed is probably ridiculous. It has to be.
Let's not get mad at him for not signing coming out of the hotel because these guys are signing so many other autographs. They're like, oh,
I'm signing already.
I can't even play. I can't even throw the baseball because I have to sign so much crap. But again, I don't feel bad. They're making a lot of money to sit there and sign pieces
at the
of
end
paper.
of the day, I would deal with that a little bit to make the kind of money that Mike Trout makes.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
cool
Hit
with
me
that.
up.
Yep.
Call
I'm
me
cool with
Angels.
it.
I'll sign it.
or just have Luca's mom do it for him. Doesn't she sign his?
Yeah. All right. Well, since Joe is never going to grade with PSA again,
I am never submitting with PSA again.
we thought we'd end this week's episode just talking a little bit about what we have planned or what we're sending out to get graded. Go ahead, Joe, since you're wait, we can skip you. No?
I
Yeah,
have some
maybe?
stuff being
No?
graded by other companies, Mike. I can talk about that.
Yeah. Comic books don't count.
Oh, come on. Yes, I do. It's the same companies. No, I do have some stuff at PSA.
I am never submitting with PSA again.
Give me shit, everyone. I'm fine with it.
We're just sitting here listening.
It's here's the thing. I had to help out EP and get his in, so I figured, I'll do.
I do appreciate it too. Thank you so much
Yeah, you're welcome, buddy.
for sacrificing for me.
For
I appreciate it.
sacrificing for you. Exactly. No, so I have an interesting order. It's actually, it finally got to Research and ID. It had been arrived for, I want to say, wasn't it like almost 2 weeks? I was telling you guys,
Mhm.
like it was just arrived for 2 weeks. It's finally at Research and ID. I'm hoping it. You said, Mike, yours kind of went through the process pretty quick after.
Yeah,
Research
mine
and
took a
ID.
while to get into Research and ID, and then it moved pretty quickly after that.
Yeah. So the ones I have, and I'll be doing a reveal for the channel. I have 5 Kenny Pickett cards, 4 autos. Ironically, we were just talking about autos, a gold auto, orange auto. I have a bunch of different ones. I got a case hit from Select Draft Picks of.
Did you
his
get a
as well.
Kaboom?
I did not get a Kaboom. I don't
Gotta
think he
get a
has a
Kaboom.
Kaboom, or he might
I
have a
think-
Kaboom.
I think he does.
He might as a stealer, but I don't collect his cards as a stealer, so I really
you need a
don't care.
Kaboom.
No, I'm good. If he had an on campus, which is the downtown college version, I definitely
Mhm.
would have gotten that because that would have the Cathedral of Learning and all the cool pit stuff. But no, I don't have any Kabooms. And then I have a Patrick Stewart autograph getting
Mm.
graded. I'm very excited about that. Picard
Definitely.
season 3 has been amazing, FYI. I've got a random Pokemon card, a Snorlax from 1999 that I'm getting graded. Yes, because I am Snorlax. And then the last one, super random card. It's from 1991. I think it's called Top Shots or something like that. It's a soccer product, which is not worth anything. It's a 100 card set, but there was a case hit Pele card numbered 101. And Rob randomly had it. He got it out of a pack. Like he opened up packs and got it. So it's probably like a PSA 7, PSA 8, but it's like a couple $100 card.
Nice.
So I figured, what
cool.
the hell? I'll send that in. And the last thing, I do have 2 comic books. They should be here this week. I'm very excited. Spawn #1 newsstand. CGC 9.8 is a $1,000 book. So fingers crossed.
No chance.
No chance. It's going to be like an 8. Whatever. But that's what I got
4.
out there.
That's cool.
4. Yeah.
EP, how about
Yeah.
you? You don't
got
grade.
I don't, but I got some 2023
What?
Topps Series 1 cards to send in. So just a few.
Wow. Where are you sending them?
So SGC, $9
Oh.
for $9. So
Yeah,
I gotta take advantage of that. I like there's an issue with a lot of the cards on the surface. There's like a little pin marks, like little
Mhm.
tiny dots on so many of the cards. A lot of the rookie cards. I've found a handful that don't have them, and then I still feel like there are cards that I would sell in a set, cards I would sell otherwise. But as far as grading, I could see them maybe finding that, and depending on the grader saying, "Well, this is a 9. There's no chance of being a 10 because of this thing," even though it's still like you have to really look really hard to find these little marks. But I do have one of the cards in here that has one of the marks as like a test case, just because.
Smart.
And I also have I'm sending in 3 of the chromes, the silver packs. The refractors, because, and I texted you guys about this, like when they are centered on the back, they're not centered on the front. And so I'm sending in one each of the ones that are centered on the back and centered on the front. I feel like the ones that are on the front are probably the correct ones, even though the back's uncentered. But I'm going to send one of each in just to kind of as a test case. Again, at $9 a card, I feel okay doing that just to see what the correct one is.
show one of the base cards from that set that you're grading. So this is why I would send these to SGC. I mean, in a tux with that like simple
Right.
white border for
Right.
$9, I think that's
Right.
I think that'll look really nice.
I also think the chromes. This actually is one of the ones that I think this one is centered top to bottom well, whereas this one is not as centered top to bottom as well. So, but if I flip them over, the one that was centered is way better centered top to bottom. I don't know if you can see them. See how skinny that is at the top there?
Yeah,
The
yeah.
Jeter Downs one. And then it's fat there, where this one is more correct. But this one is the one that is less correct on the front. So anyhow,
They'll both come back 9s. And you have
Probably,
no
probably.
information. No helpful information on that.
Well, I'm also going to take advantage of the deal. I'm taking advantage of PSA's deal, though, for non-sports card grading. $15 a card. There you go. I got a couple. Just a couple. Not
Two
many.
or three.
A couple there. So, I can't really, go through everything, but, we got Bill Murray.
that's cool.
Here's one that I'm a little... There's this card
That's
Oh, wow.
very cool.
and this card.
Ooh.
And it goes together like that. Unfortunately, PSA grades them individually.
Oh,
So if I want them graded, I have to do them separately. So
Hmm.
a little disappointing. Got
that's a
a
cool.
couple
card.
other stuff
good
in
concept.
here. I'm going to grade my Bill Clinton mail-in or promo cards that were sent to comic dealers. They're not great. They have some it looks almost like paper loss from peeling it apart, but it's not. It's just the
Yeah.
process ended up
Hmm.
not being that way.
I might need to snag one of those after they're graded from you,
I have a
Mike.
couple Jackass autographs. I have a whole bunch of Nintendo cards. We have a bunch of Magic cards. What the heck? Like, I don't even know.
I'm grading
don't-
Pokemon. You're grading Magic. What is
I'm also
that?
grading this card.
Oh
This,
wow, what is
like,
that? What's
this
that
is
from?
something called Famous Comic Book Creators from 1992.
Hmm.
And of course, Neil Gaiman does Sandman and
Yeah.
very well known. I
Yeah.
mean, pretty decent card. It's not going to get a 9 or 10, but like the cards raw sell for like $30.
Hmm.
So I mean, I don't know if they'll grade it or they'll send it back, but it's worth a shot. So
Yeah,
we'll
why not?
see. Got myself my Magic cards here. Got a couple Pokemon, not much. And of course, I got a ton of rock cards. Got some rap cards. I'm good to go.
Rock as in the music, not
Yeah,
as
not
in
the
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 wrestling.
rock.
Okay,
the
all
rock.
right.
So yeah, and like, who doesn't love Kid Rock when he tried to be a rapper? So there you go.
I don't even remember that.
I don't either. He must have been really good. But yeah, should be a fun. I spent the whole day yesterday like going through and looking at cards with my loop, like the whole day. I'm not exaggerating. Literally the
But
whole day.
again, that's
So.
fun work.
It
like
is, yeah.
Mhm.
Got a little tiring after a while,
I
but
bet.
you know,
But sounds like we're gonna have some reveal videos for the channel here in the next few
yeah,
weeks.
that should be
Yeah.
a fun one. So
Yeah.
some of the stuff
I-
to sell, some to keep, but
I might actually
Mhm.
send mine in 2 orders. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I'll probably send them all together, but I'm not sure 100%. So
I
might be
mean,
two.
save on the shipping. I like,
Yeah,
like why ship twice if you,
yeah.
I don't see a point in breaking it up unless you're worried about like getting just a bad grader.
I
Yeah,
am worried about
yeah.
that actually. Like that.
But if you're
that's why
sending them
I'm on, like,
SGC, I got to be honest. You're sending them to
You're
SGC.
gonna
They're
get
going to
the
be
same grade-
accurately
same grade.
graded. It's
Right.
I'm the one that
they're-
needs to be worried about.
Yeah,
You guys
Mike-
get a good
Mike-
grader.
Yeah, maybe you'll get that EP grader from the last
Let's-
reveal
let's hope.
that you did. Now,
I
you're
won't-
actually going to sign up for SGC EP. You actually
Yeah,
have to sign
yes.
up.
Yeah, I will sign up for sure. Yeah, I'm going to sign up.
Okay.
I actually want to get these out the door tomorrow if I can. So that's my plan. Get them out the door tomorrow.
Okay, well, we'll keep everybody updated. But other than that, I don't have anything else to say. Anybody else?
I got nothing
We all
else.
good?
No,
Nothing?
we're good.
No,
We're
I think
good.
we said
We're
it
good
all.
for the week.
All right. That was a fun episode. Take care, guys. See you next week.
See you, boys.
Adios.